Well, the current scenario hasn't changed, based on, traditional, peak season movements and so on, where, this time of the year, there's a lot of freight moving, there's a lot of issues regarding, weather conditions all over the world, transshipment port delays, local port delays, airlines are always running late, et cetera, et cetera. So, leading into this, the busy period or the Christmas rush, it's naturally going to have an effect of increase in pricing and so on. So we've this year seen the same trend where, pricing from 3 months ago has doubled. A container out of China, say a 40-foot container out of China is now $5,000 where it was $2,500 3 months ago. Air freight from, say, China inbound to Australia as well went from $3 US a kilo to $6 US a kilo. It's all supply and demand. We're going into a high demand season, and the last 2 months of October, we've really seen a lot of movements based on the fact that it seems, a lot of warehouses are being depleted with stock, and, customers need to get their cargo in before the Christmas rush. With rates increasing, a lot of customers are now interested in pricing structures and so on. So we have seen a little bit more of people requesting, updated pricing, et cetera, et cetera. Listen, any war anywhere in the world will affect movements. Obviously we spoke about the Red Sea, and we won't harp up on that anymore because, that is an ongoing issue. But, any war anywhere, puts a bit of pressure on shipping lines and airlines because you can't go through areas like you used to. So transit times have increased, port rotations have changed because you can't go into some individual ports. But, we all acclimatise to these issues. We all look at ways of minimising the delays and minimising, the problems for the customer. But, we haven't really, this has been ongoing now for a couple of years. And I think the shipping lines and the airlines have sort of put, contingencies in place where now it's running a lot smoother. And people are used to 60-day transits from Europe to Australia, and 5 to 7, 10 days of air freight movements from Europe to here as well. So, these are the norms these days, and everyone's acclimatised to it, and we're no different to anyone else. As we said, this quarter four, like every quarter four, is very challenging for all of us. We're seeing that there is some terminal delays, and I'm assuming there'll be some terminal strikes in around that period, which is normal around this time of year. But heading into the new year, like every year, we've gone through the crazy Christmas rush and get it all here tomorrow, yesterday, the week before, the week after. Leading into the new year, I think everyone needs to sort of take a breath and start thinking about their quarter one orders and trying to put them in place sooner rather than later, because we've noticed that factories are running a bit late with product because of supply and demand of their components for their products. So I think just be very mindful that leading into this period where it is a bit slower in regards to the number of movements in quarter one, just place your orders in advance. Be on top of cargo availability times and dates, and communicate with your suppliers and also with your service providers in Australia, and I guess vice versa. If it's exports, exactly the same thing. Make sure that your product's ready on time. It can meet deadlines, and we get it out in a timely manner. But I'd just say make sure that you pre-plan and get your product in and out of Australia as quickly as possible. But this period also sees a dramatic fall in pricing. Obviously we have Chinese New Year around end of January, early February. China and Australia are very strong business partners and trading partners. So, there's having a 10-day, I wouldn't say the country closes down, but for 10 days there's not a lot of movement, in and out of China. So, we should see some easing in the pricing. I don't know what levels that will be, but I think like every year we should see a 30 to 40% reduction in both air freight and sea freight inbound. And, your export pricing are pretty standard. That there hasn't been any major fluctuation in regards to that part of our business. But yeah, just we should see some reductions, which is a positive for all importers and exporters. Listen, there's no specific issues or problems or anything with regards to air freight or sea freight. Like I said earlier, there has been some sharp increases in the pricing structure, which is, we've been very proactive and spoken to our customers and given them, enough notices regarding rate restorations and so on, that they've implemented these increases in their costings. But there hasn't been any major issues in regards to pricing. As I said, there has been some delays in movements, and aircraft have been running a bit late here and there, and capacity is an issue. So we've had to make sure that we hit cut-offs based on new deadlines and so on. So yeah, nothing really major. I'm very comfortable that ourselves and our customers are very happy with what we've done so far over the last couple of months, and leading into the end of November and December. I don't envisage any major issues. I mean, for all our customers, please make sure that you reiterate your closing days and holiday periods during this time, because it's very important that we don't have a container arriving on the 29th of December and everyone's back on the 10th or 11th of January, which could cause some storage charges. But all in all, I'm very comfortable where our customers and where we are with our service providers today. If the government in America implements tariffs to China, that's a benefit for Australia, because then our product is cheaper. So we should have a bigger pool of export business. Imports, we're probably 60% of every container that comes into Australia or air freight comes from China. They're our biggest trading partner, will be our biggest trading partner now and tomorrow and in years to come. So I'm not really worried about the Trump situation. I think that, whatever they do in their domestic or in their country is, or domestic policy and in their country is something that, has a ripple effect on everyone in the world. But, it won't, I don't believe it'll have, a massive effect on our imports and exports. I have grave concerns in Australia regarding, some of our policies and so on, because it affects us every day based on, what we can afford as a family every day. We're talking about interest rates going up, not down. Families can't afford to eat, drink, go out to dinner, educate their kids. So if you incorporate all this, that means there's going to be less spending, less people going to restaurants, the economy is going to drop. So naturally our business is going to reduce as well. Naturally that, most of us in any industry are going to feel the effects of policy and are going to feel the effects based on us not spending, the economy reducing, et cetera, et cetera. So, we've seen a lot of companies go bankrupt, go into liquidation, receivership, et cetera, et cetera. I think, this is only the beginning of a storm where, next year it's going to be even tougher for, your local cafe, your local restaurant, anything that people don't need in their life on a day in, day out routine. So you need to go shopping and buy your groceries. You need to fill up your car. These are things that are fixed cost every week. Things that aren't a fixed cost, like, should I wear my Nike sneakers that I bought 2 years ago or buy new ones? You're not going to buy new ones. Should I go to a restaurant with my family? I can't afford it. We're not going to do that. I envisage that, next year is going to be a really tough year, not just for us as a freight forwarding or international logistics business, but for all people in Australia that just want to, go to work, make a living, feed their family and pay their mortgage. ISS Shipping is a medium-sized freight forwarding international logistics company. our number one priority is to make sure our customers are happy, and we work with them to make sure that, you know, their logistics movement operates at 100% and there's no issues. Obviously, we're dependent a lot on many factors to move the cargo from wherever to wherever, and we're not in control of everything ourselves. But I'm a great believer that in negatives, there's always positives. The positive thing is, you know, there's a lot of business still out there. Get out there. The message I say to everyone, be positive, get out there, chase new business, get new customers, try to grow your business, because when the pool of competitors shrink, there's more business out there for us. So never be afraid to do that. I push my sales guy, you know, Lyle Scott, brought him on board 3 months ago. I'm pushing him every day. I say to him all the time, there's a lot of positives right now because the pool of competitors are reducing based on the overall, you know, business that everyone does, and there's a lot of consolidation in our industry, and you know, the big boys don't come into our sector regarding, you know, the pool of customers that we chase. So there's a lot of positives. Get out there, get new customers, get new business, grow your business, get the revenue up. 2025 should be a beauty if you're positive.